YouTube is a website that's defined, I would say more than any other website, by eras, right? You have like the Let's Play eras when Let's Play were new and everyone's trying to get into that. Now it's saturated. You have the era of the beauty vloggers. You have the era of like the prank channels. And my God, I hope that never comes back. But one era that I think has had the most damage in terms of just fucking up people's perspectives on like humor and content creation is the edgelord era. The cringy, I'm gonna say a bunch of slurs because I don't have any sort of actual sense of humor and I want to exist by triggering people, like that genre. And people who are in that are still creating content now, but they've sort of like distanced themselves from it. Like if we look at Joji, he's a successful artist, right? But he was Filthy Frank. And if you know anything about Filthy Frank, you know that content was peak edgelord humor, right? There was also another content creator, and I kind of wanted to make this video because I did watch a bit of the Anthony Padilla video with him, but Idubbbz. Idubbbz is one of those creators who lived in the edgelord. He was on top of edgelord's mountain. I mean, and he's a white dude, right? But he's out here saying the N-word, just being like liberally, like way too much, like more than I have said it. And he's out here just giving out passes saying that, oh, well, you know, either all words are bad, no words are bad. Just putting out real like bad faith stuff, just existing just to trigger people. If you have heard of Idubbbz, then you obviously know about him and the infamous Tana Montague incident. And if you don't know that, he went to TanaCon, which in itself was an entire shit show. But he went to TanaCon and they took a picture together, and they're saying cheese, he says the N-word, like pulls on says it in front of her. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but you know, he's trying to show the absurdity, this and this and that. But it's not his place to show the absurdity using those words. Like, and that's something that I feel like was never actually like pushed on back then, was they would let him and other content creators of that kind just say whatever, and the defense was always, well, oh, you're not in on the joke. I understand humor. I understand the joke. He's not the person who should be delivering said joke though, right? If I'm making jokes about black people, I'm good to go, baby. I have a pass. I have the understanding. I know the culture. I live it day to day. If I'm making jokes about tall people, buddy, I'm 6'8". I'm probably one of the tallest people on YouTube. I get it. I understand. But if I'm making jokes that are so tied to other like ethnicities and cultures, and I'm not of that ethnicity or culture, I'm not the messenger who should be saying that. And because of his type of humor and what he really made popularized, right? Tons of people wanted to come in there and do similar content, just off the wall shit. And I wouldn't even call that content like good, because I don't think content that relies on pure shock value is any good. And I don't think I'm alone in that, because Idubbbz himself has said that, yeah, when he met his fans, he didn't enjoy it. And he acted really surprised.
I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with that just sucked, because I attracted a lot of people who sucked. Some people were very much like antisocial, weird basement dwellers. You know, the one time a month that they come out of their cave and they run into me, their favorite YouTuber.
And what would they say? What would they do?
Things that I am certainly not going to repeat. I'm talking bad words.
Words that we only say by describing the first letter.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, man, what a powerful way of putting it.
And I don't know why anyone could be surprised that that would be the reaction they would have given the content they created. This is well, yeah, I promote lions eating people's faces off, but how do you think a lion would eat off my face? Like, no, bro, you did that. I know people now, all the shit he did was years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. He wasn't that young, but people are saying now that his content's different. And I went on his page, and sure enough, his content does look different. It's a lot more sporadic in uploads. He started doing a creator clash. Now he's just doing stuff where it's like, I don't like doomsday peppers or influencer boxing, which is strange because then the video right after that, he puts out his influencer boxing thing, hence the creators clash. But what I didn't see is taking any sort of like direct acknowledgement of like the hand that he played in creating that kind of environment. And we still see the effects of that shit today. Like, not saying that Idubbbz is the sole one responsible. But I feel like a lot of people want to do this thing where they give people their redemption because they just don't talk about it or don't do that stuff anymore without them actually addressing it. And in the video that I saw, he didn't really address it. He kind of just talked about how he didn't like it. But I'm more than willing to be wrong. And you know what? I will give that video another watch and be like, hey, maybe this was adequate enough. Hi, it's editor me. So yeah, I watched the video and he wasn't really talking about like, oh, yes, these videos that I used to do were bad and these are why they're bad. And like, you know, I'm upset that I did that. He kind of just said that like he talked about his wife about how he should have given her more credit. That was one of his actual regrets because she was involved with so much more than people gave her credit for, which, you know, good for you. But he doesn't really talk about how like, yeah, hey, these videos that I did where I'm just saying like you can say the N-word and saying this and this and this and the third, doesn't really address those. So I feel like, yeah, I'm still pretty valid in how I feel and what the whole video is about. So I just want to pop in and say, yeah, if you guys leave kind of comments, no point in leaving it. I saw the video. But if you want to leave a comment, still leave a comment. Hell, even like this video, you can subscribe, do all those fun YouTube things. All right, back to the video. But I just feel like going on someone else's channel to talk about it isn't really suitable when it happened on your channel. So like, use your platform and be like, hey, this is all the bad shit I did. I don't like this anymore. I want to move away from that. Because just not making that kind of content, to me, isn't enough when you are the one who, you know, thrived off that. That's what got you your millions of subs and got you to status where you can do like your creator class yard stuff too, right? With building up that content. If I made content that was like, you know, anti-dog stuff, right? And I got millions of followers of that, and I just stopped making that, I do need to eventually address that. Like whether why I stopped doing it or, you know, if I was wrong or whatever. Because again, if we're just kind of just not addressing the elephant in the room and just saying, hey, focus on this because I'm doing this stuff now. I don't know, man. I don't really like that. I feel like you owe it to people to be like, hey, what I did was messed up and I will regret doing that. Or maybe you don't regret it, but you know, you made mistakes and you're trying to do better. But I do feel like some sort of formal acknowledgement on your own channel, on your own platform should happen. Because again, that is the platform which you did it, which got you to where you are today. I know people are gonna be like, you guys, you know, nothing makes you happy, but I feel like what I'm asking for isn't like something crazy. Like what's crazy is the shit that he got away with. Like the shit that Idubbbz got away with was insane. Like I can't even show you guys like half the videos that he does. Like it was insane shit, bro. Like just the TanaCon, I mean, I'll try to throw it in if I can, but just the Tana video was like, I'm gonna have to censor that. Like his humor was just that ableism, racism, just all forms of kind of bigotry and just kind of just saying it's all okay because essentially those words don't affect him. So he's okay with saying it because you could say it to me and it's like, that's not the point, right? Like you're not in the wheelchair, you're not disabled, you're not a minority. So you don't get to give that pass. And I feel like that's still the problem we have today in YouTube and content creation as a whole. I'm not against people having a redemption, but I do want to see the actual work happening. We're too quick to just be like, oh, well, they're better now, they're fine. Although I issue like a bullshit apology, it's like, okay, we're cool with that. I'm like, but we should expect more from them, right? Like these are people who are fortunate enough to be in a position to create content, make it as a living and have a fan base. I feel like they at least owe it to that fan base to be like, I'm actually doing the work. Because I could literally be here all day talking about all different type of influencers and YouTubers who have majorly fucked up and have just not owned up to it. But their fans have said they have and they have moved on. But they haven't done the work to actually earn that redemption. But then this video will be way longer than it is right now. And I don't like to do like super long videos anymore. So we'll just leave it at that.